The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, let's go! Tommy Lugauer, Loogie. Steve Cohen is not a fraud. Steve Cohen is not a liar. Steve Cohen is not a con man. Steve Cohen is a salesman. The only problem is he's selling a crappy product. 877-337-6666. Steve Cohen did everything he could do to sign Yamamoto. He flew to Japan. He had Yamamoto at his house, made him dinner, did everything he could do to get Yamamoto. And Yamamoto went to the Dodgers. I don't blame Steve Cohen for any of this stuff. It's not Wilpon 2.0. He's not a fraud. He's not a liar, but he is a salesman, and he's selling a crappy product. What Steve Cohen, what David Stearns, what they need to do is they need to turn the Mets into a consistent winner. Make that product not crappy. That's what they need to do. And how you do that is you build up the farm system, you build it the right way. And here's a novel idea. You turn the Mets into a team that gets into the playoffs consistently, year in, year out. I'm going to be 40 in a couple years. Don't remind me. The Mets have made the playoffs 8 times in my life. 8! They have to become the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cardinals, the Yankees. Teams that get there year in and year out. Because otherwise, Steve Cohen is going to continue to be left at the altar. And I know a lot of you out there want blood because you think, and a lot of this is Met fans making this sort of mythical person in Steve Cohen as a Thanos collecting infinity stones. Steve, he's going to sign everybody. He's got $1 million, billion, quadrillion dollars, trillion dollars, and he'll just spend. The problem is, yes, he does have the money, but the product is crappy. Here's an analogy. Steve Cohen, let's be honest, geeky, goes out to Vegas, goes to one of the best clubs by himself, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to get table service because I'm a dork and I want friends. So I'm going to drop, like $1,000 for a bottle of vodka, and then they'll throw in a few energy drinks for $400. So he goes, you know what? I'm rich. I'm going to get like 6 or 7 bottles. I'm going to get a ton of energy drinks, and I'm going to have girls. I'm going to have dudes. They're going to come. They're going to party. They're going to drink with me. We're going to have a good time. And then you look up. It's 2 a.m. All the booze is gone. Everybody ate your chicken fingers, and you're stuck with the bill, and everybody left. That's what happened to Steve Cohen. Yamamoto had this planned out from the very beginning. That's why when Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, all the money was deferred. Why? Because Shohei and Yamamoto had this planned out. They were playing the Mets. They were playing Steve Cohen. They were getting the price higher and higher and higher so the Dodgers could match it, and then he would sign in L.A. He wanted to play in L.A. He wanted to play with Shohei. He wanted to play with the Dodgers. He didn't want to come to the Mets. And for some of you out there that say, well, why didn't Steve Cohen offer more? He offered $325 million. The Dodgers matched, and Yamamoto went to the Dodgers. That's it. That's all it was. It was a game. If he offered $400, Dodgers would have went to $400. They deferred the Shohei money. They are loaded in L.A., talent-wise and money-wise. Steve Cohen got played. It's not his fault. He's not a fraud. He's not a con man. He is a salesman. But the product right now is not good. If you are a free agent, if you are a high-priced free agent, and you look at the Mets, you're like, I don't want to sign here. I just don't, because I want to go to a winner. I want to go to the better brand. And when Steve Cohen bought this team, I know I thought this way. I wanted somebody to build a brand. I want the Mets to be the new evil empire. I want them to be a sexy destination. And the only way you do that, it's not with money, because this isn't the old days where you just have 1, maybe 2 teams that can spend. There are a lot of teams right now with money. Steve Cohen is not the only guy with a ton of dough. So you have to make this place a destination for fans, for free agents. Make it cool. That's why he's going to build up basically Disney World around Citi Field, because he wants to make it the cool, fun place to be. So it is attractive to free agents like Yamamoto going forward. 877-337-6666. This is Tommy Lugauer. I'm Kevin McAllister today. I'm basically home alone. Tiki's gone. Evan's gone. Marash is gone. I will have you here till 7:20. I saw the Yamamoto news right around 11 o'clock, right as it broke. The football game was wrapping up, and I saw the news, and I wasn't surprised because I knew all along that Steve Cohen was getting played. You could just tell it. Yamamoto wanted to flirt. That's it. He's a young guy. He is a free agent. He is really, really good. He is the cat's meow. He was the, no pun intended, the apple of the Mets' eye, and he wanted to flirt. He loved the idea of teams courting him. He loved the free jerseys and the video packages and the free dinner and God only knows what else. But all along, he was going to the Dodgers. It was the long con, and the Mets were along for the ride. Period. That's it. And you have to move on. If you're going to throw shade on Steve Cohen, you are wrong. You are misinformed. You are not getting it. Period. He has to make the Mets into a better brand. It's not just about spending, and losing 100 games. That's not going to get you anywhere. I want to see the Mets in the playoffs every year. Get in the playoffs, be consistent, and then you can win a World Series. That's how it works. Not, all right, just write a blank check, we'll buy a championship, and we'll all be happy. No, we've been waiting long enough. You, me, we've all been waiting long enough. You got to be patient here. Now, the one thing Steve Cohen did wrong is he said 3 to 5 years for a championship. That was dumb. He should not have done that. Because now the expectation levels for a fan base that was already excited because the Wilpons were gone, the Mets were no longer shopping on the clearance rack, so they're already pumped up. They're already geeked up. They're already jazzed up. And then their new owner, their savior, Steve Cohen, says, well, within 3 to 5 years. Don't do that, because, especially here. Don't set expectations there, because I believe that Steve Cohen realized that was wrong. He realized the error of his ways early on as the owner of the Mets, and he has now said, you know what? We're going to do things differently. We are going to build a winner here, year in, year out. Did I want Yamamoto? You're damn right I did. Was he the number one priority for the Mets? You're damn right he was. I knew it. You knew it. Cohen knew it. Stearns knew it. And you know who else knew it? Yamamoto. And he used and played the Mets and Steve Cohen. And get used to it, because it's going to happen a lot. It's going to happen. But how you fix it is by changing the culture of the Mets. That's how. So I don't want to hear any whiny, bitch-ass Met fans, quite frankly, calling in and be like, oh, Steve Cohen says. No. Steve Cohen did everything he could do. And Yamamoto told him to go scratch because he was never going to play in New York for the Mets. 877-337-6666. Let's go to Mike in Marine Park. What's up, Mike?
Loogie.
Yo.
Relax.
I'm good.
Relax.
This is me. Relax. What's up?
Happy holidays, bro.
You too.
Listen, I'm not going to go down to Florida and harass. Now I can't go down and harass Evan in Florida in the teacups. So I think it's a breath of fresh air now. I think we need to refocus. Loogie, he played the Yankees, too. He wanted to go to the West Coast. All the Japanese players have the West Coast appeal. The weather's better, and the money. And that's it. And he played us all. And that's all. And the Mets fans need to relax. I'm a Yankee fan, but this is a new era. As a Yankee fan, that feeling of the coupons, that's gone.
No, you're right, Mike. You're absolutely right. It is gone. It is gone. But there's still that insecurity that exists of, oh, boy, did we get conned? Did we get lied to? Is Steve Cohen not what we thought he was going to be? Why do free agents not want to come here? Steve Cohen did everything in his power to sign this guy, including flying to Japan. Now, he didn't fly on, Spirit. I'm sure it was private. But still, he flew out there. He showed the guy respect. He showed how interested he was. And Yamamoto saw Steve Cohen as a tool to get the Dodgers to pony up and pay more. And the Dodgers were willing to spend. And you're right, the weather is a hell of a lot better out in Los Angeles. My in-laws are from Beverly Hills. If I could move out there and somehow still be connected with New York, I would do it in a heartbeat. So I totally understand that, although the traffic is hideous. And guess what? The fans stink too. They're going to arrive in the second inning and they're going to leave by the third inning. So enjoy that. 877-337-6666. Alex in Chester. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Louie, how are you?
Good, dude. What's up?
First off, let me just say this: I'm a Mets fan, lifelong Mets fan. I just turned 60.
Yep.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
You know, you can't convince these players. Like, listen, yeah, the Cohen get played a little bit, sure, but you know what? I wouldn't have been thrilled as a Mets fan to say this guy's getting a 12-year contract for $300-something million when he hasn't pitched a game in New York. You know, under the microscope of the New York pressure, never mind Major League Baseball. So, but from a Mets standpoint, what you do is, okay, what's next? Let's go out and build a team like you're saying. We got to build a consistent, reliable, professional baseball team year in and year out that's going to compete for the World Series. That's what we want as fans.
Yep,
So,
Alex, and I will get into later in the show what the Mets and Yankees will do here as far as pivots after Yamamoto signs with the Dodgers. Absolutely. And look, no, if the Mets sign Yamamoto, it would have been a massive move for them. You're talking about a young stud pitcher, and the Mets desperately need one. Senga, we know, is really good. He's at the top of the rotation. After that, not great. Sevy, question mark. Quintana, question mark. I don't even want to go down the list after that. They needed Yamamoto at the top of the rotation. They did. They knew it. And they did everything they could do. And I'm not going to worry about money. It's not mine, number one. And if $300 million fell on the floor, Steve Cohen wouldn't pick it up. It's not about the spending the money. People, you got to get over that. Starting pitching is at a premium. There aren't very many reliable guys. There aren't. And there aren't many 25-year-old young electric pitchers. They don't come around often, certainly not in free agency. So when you have the opportunity to get that guy, you pay for it. Oh, and by the way, there was a tax on top of it. I think it's like a $50 million tax the Dodgers have to pay. But you do it. If the news broke last night that he was a Met or he was a Yankee, you would be singing a different tune. And if you were upset about that, you are clueless. 877-337-6666. John in Staten Island. What's up, John?
Yo, Tommy boy. How are you?
Good, dude. What's up?
I'm going to give you my reason why I think the Mets dodged a huge bullet.
Go ahead.
Not that I didn't want Yamamoto, because obviously I would. But what I think happened is Brian Cashman was ranking on Giancarlo Stanton, saying, oh, he's hurt or whatever. Joel Wolfe is Giancarlo Stanton's agent. Mm-hmm. He said, I would tell anyone, including international players, I wouldn't sign there.
Yeah.
So I think basically Yamamoto's agent said, hey, Brian Cashman, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, nuts, baby.
All right. So, look, I understand it's Friday. Christmas is in 2 days, and happy hour started a little early. And when Loogie's on the air, we like to get a little spicy. We like to mix it up there. Number one, your joke was stupid. Number two, you're an idiot. 877-337-6666. Pete's in Farmingdale. What's up, Petey?
Hey.
Hey.
Nice to hear somebody mirroring my frustration and anger, but
well, I'm not
really angry.
Hold on a second, Pete. I'm not frustrated and I'm not angry. That's my point here, is that this is not a frustration or anger. Did I want Yamamoto? Absolutely. Was he number one priority for the Mets? Yes. Did they do everything in their power to get him? Yes, they did. He didn't want to come here. It was a long con, him and Ohtani. That's why the money was deferred with the Ohtani contract. It was all a plan to end up in Los Angeles. They used Steve Cohen.
I agree, but I don't think the they is necessarily Yamamoto. This is Groundhog Day, because all the Japanese players are doing this right now. And if I were Steve Cohen, I'd call Hal Steinbrenner, make a call down to Philly and Boston and say, listen, let's not drive up the prices for ourselves, bid against ourselves, so that they're going to go to another team.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that, Pete.
If East Coast team, I would just give up on Japanese players and let them come to me.
That's fair, Pete, but you have to also understand, I understand what you're saying as far as being a shrewd businessman. The problem with that is that this is not 1992 where stuff is in public. If it gets out there, could you imagine in a world where Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers for whatever, if he signed for the money he signed for, and it came out that Steve Cohen didn't make an offer? You can't do that. You just can't run your team that way. So you can't collude. And I understand playing out on the West Coast is a little bit more attractive for Japanese players. I get that. That's totally fine. But we're talking about the number one pitching free agent on the market for two teams, and we will get into more of the Yankees later and what they're going to do here to pivot, as well as the Mets. This was top priority for both of them. The Mets being a little bit more, because I do believe the Yankee rotation is better than the Mets. But as far as the Mets, this was their number one priority. All you have is Senga. That's it. That's the only given. And this is a guy that's only pitched 1 year here. And that's the only given in their rotation. They needed to get Yamamoto. They needed to make an offer on him. You can't just do something like that. I understand that that's like, forget him, we'll be shrewd. But that's not going to work, especially in this town. The fans would lose their freaking minds. 877-337-6666. Frank is in Mineola. What's up, Frankie?
Loogie, listen.
Yeah.
I've been saying from day one, and you can go on my Twitter account. I'll give you my name.
Yeah, I'm not going to do
that. No way.
Okay.
Okay, no way do you hand a guy that I don't care what he did in Japan. The major league hit is here on night and day. Now, I don't care. He's 20 years old and is done what he's done. Yes, the Mets better pivot in a smart way, and I'm not liking the names I'm hearing. But no way should the Mets hand a guy who's never thrown a pitch in this country against this caliber of hitters that type of contract. And I'm telling you,
but Frank, here's the problem.
If he wins,
Frank, when you have a young pitcher like that and the stuff he has, you have to spend the money on him. I understand he has not proven himself here, but if he comes here and he is dominant and he translates that over to the States, he will be worth his weight in gold. You have to take that risk.
But Loogie,
yeah,
that's if. That's a big if.
Everybody's an if, Frank. So if we're going to play the if game, everybody's an if.
But Loogie, it's a 12-year if. It's not a 6-year if.
But that's baseball right now. For the big-time free agents, you have. What do you think Juan Soto's going to want next year? Guys are going to want a lot of years.
But Juan Soto is proven here.
I understand that, but my point is that but here's the problem. But Frank, Yamamoto's not going to say, you know what, I'm not proven. I'm just going to take 3 years. He's not going to do that. Because he knows he's going to get 10, 12 years because he understands that there is a lack of starting pitching in baseball. There aren't a lot of reliable guys. Yes, it's a risk because we have not seen him pitch here. We don't know how he's going to handle it. We don't know how he's going to handle pressure. We don't understand how he's going to, deal with big league hitting. It is an unknown, but the stuff is electric. If you have eyes and you could watch, you can see that he's good. The Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets, the Yankees, they wanted this guy. Everybody wants him. Giants, it's just not everybody can afford him. They understand how good he is or how good he can be. And you take that risk on a young arm like that, especially if you need somebody. And by the way, most, if not every single team, does need a guy like Yamamoto. So all the power to the Dodgers. Now they have all the pressure in the world to win, and they're building it the way of spending, which doesn't always necessarily work. 877-337-6666. David in Queens. What's up, David?
Hey, how you doing? Listen, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm still happy Steve Cohen is our owner. He's a billionaire. He's going to fall down and make mistakes, but I'm confident that he's going to get it together. If you look at the Mets record from 84 to 88, 89, and we had and they have the playoff system they have today back then, they would have been a consistent playoff team, and God knows how many World Series they would have won. And they did it with Frank Cashin, with homegrown players like Gooden, Strawberry, Darling, and a sprinkling of veterans like Hernandez and Carter. He's going to learn to do the same thing. He's already building up the farm system. I like when he got rid of overpriced old men pitchers that we got rid of and said, "C'est la vie. We don't need you. We're just going to move on." I like that. So I'm encouraged. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get him, but I'm encouraged that Cohen's going to find his way. And like you said, he shouldn't have said 5 years. It may take 10 years. It may.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't take 10 years, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I think building it the right way, I think making the Mets a consistent playoff team and getting into a situation where you could win a World Series, that's the way to do this. You're right, build up the farm system, spend money. I like the hybrid. I like building up the farm system while spending money. But I do believe the perception here now is that King Cohen is a fraud. He sold everybody a bill of goods, and he's not going to be able to deliver on that. Steve Cohen did everything in his power to get this guy. Trip to Japan, had him over the house. He was played. If he offered more money, the Dodgers would have came back and matched it. 877-337-6666. Brian in Connecticut. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up, Lukey?
Yeah, what's up, dude?
So, big Yankee fan. I'm not. They offered him a lot of money. He didn't come. I think he was going to go West Coast either way, like a lot of people have been saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's it, Brian. I mean, you're right. I think he was definitely, it was always West Coast. The Yankees and the Mets, of course, had to be in on him because both teams need help in the rotation. Both teams have the perception that they need to spend. Both teams have a fan base that want to win, that are sick of losing, and want to get back in the World Series and win it. A previous caller brought this up, and I think it is a fascinating way to look at baseball now, and we're just getting used to it. And I think in a lot of ways it ruined baseball to a degree, but it is what it is. Rob Manfred and the Brain Trust at MLB decided, you know what? We need the fans in Pittsburgh to be into it in September, so let's allow 7 billion teams into the playoffs because we want to, have these mid-market teams be excited, and we want to sell tickets in September. So we're going to allow everybody in. I think if you look at it now, it's changed. If you win 100 games, if you win your division, it doesn't automatically put you in a good spot. We've seen it now the last couple of years. Arizona was in the World Series. It's not doom or gloom. They're not punting on the season. There are different ways now to get into the playoffs. Once you get there, there are different ways to win. So you got to keep that in mind when you're frustrated here because there are multiple avenues now with the current state of baseball. 877-337-6666. Tommy Lugauer here. Loogie.